Samuel, you live.
You live?
You live.
All right, we're live. Friday Night Live. What's up, family? It's Jay, Mr. Real Estate Morrison, also known as Young Malcolm, and I'm in the mood to teach. Just left an extensive office meeting. We do a Friday meeting here at the Jay-Morrison Academy headquarters every single Friday with my entire team. So that was good, and I left the meeting, and I got a text from my mom, my mother, and she said, call me. So I called my mom, and because she's my mom and she birthed me, she's allowed to get free coaching lessons from me, right? So she don't got to pay for coaching or mentorship. She just gets it because Mom Dukes. So my mom right now, our family owns some land in North Carolina, and my mom right now is building a home in North Carolina. And so she's been working on this project for the last 6 months, building a second home, and she constantly hits me up when she hits those hurdles in the process and gets more clarity from me. And from that lesson, I was inspired to give this same lesson to you all. So if my mom can get it, I'm gonna give it to my aunties and my sisters and my brothers and my uncles and my cousins, my extended family, you all, right? Like at JMA, the Jay-Morrison Academy, we believe we're all family. Like that's our thing, the JMA family. And so being that you're my family, I'm gonna give you the same lesson that my mom got for the free 99 here on the Facebook fan page, Friday Night Live. Like why not, let's do it. So I got King Damien behind the camera phone. This is an impromptu video, no microphones, no special lighting. This is just if you want some raw content, some real game, and this good education, all right? So I'm gonna be using terms today many of you may not be familiar with, and I'll break those down. I'm gonna show you the kind of lectures and lessons that we give in the Jay-Morrison Academy and why you guys should be part of our family. Now, first and foremost, those who are on Facebook watching this, make sure you guys start sharing this now and share it throughout. Like you want this on your page. If I'm sharing this with you, the least you can do is share this with others, right? Also, I want you to comment below and make sure everyone subscribe to the page and like the page. Like this lesson if you like this lesson. All right. So my mother called me, and here's the scenario. Our family owns a couple acres of land, well, several acres of land, but a couple acres that my mom is going to be building on in North Carolina, right? And so she calls me up. She's followed our strategies. My mom has identified her realtor, her mortgage person, her title person, her homeowner insurance person, right? We teach you how to build a team here at JMA. Many of you want to invest in real estate, but you have no idea who you need on your team, right? You're doing it ass backwards. So we want us to start thinking and strategizing and approaching business, entrepreneurship, and real estate investing from a more savvy and more astute and more sophisticated way. Even though my mom didn't go to college for business, or even though she's not an active real estate investor, although I didn't go to college at all, I still have a financial education, an entrepreneurship education, and this has made me successful because I follow the same principles that I teach you all. And I taught my mom today on this lesson. So she's building a home, brand new. So she owns her land, right? And now she's consulted with her mortgage company, right? Now, this is not her first mortgage company because my mom followed what I told her. And that's when you're building your team, you not only get one vendor, but you get a backup vendor and a backup for your backup in case the first one is not acting right. And so my mom's first mortgage company would not be flexible enough to work with her on her terms for the loan. So she found another lender that's willing to lend to her on this property, and we're structuring her deal in a way where she can actually build this home using no money down. So the first part of it is that my mom owns this land free and clear. And I'm going to tell you, for those who don't own your land free and clear, some other ways in which you can position yourself to be able to have site control or ownership of the land or the property. So right now, the land is free and clear, meaning there's no mortgage, there's no debt on the land, right? Our family just owns it, we pay taxes on it. But my mom now wants to build a home on the land, and her estimation for the building cost is about $100,000. All right, 100K building cost. And then her estimate for her closing cost was about $6,000. So this building cost or construction cost is the cost to actually put a property up on this land, right? Brand new structure. And the closing costs are the cost for the appraisals, the fees, the title insurance, right? The surveys and everything else needed in order to construct this process and for it to be financed. So my mother's total cost is $106,000, right? Is her total project cost. I'm gonna tell you right now, my mom ain't got no $106,000, right? And she's not getting all that from me, not right now. So we had to figure out a way for my mom to be able to build on this land, but use little to no money down out of her pocket. The least, the better, right? So when getting a loan for a mortgage, there's a term or acronym called LTV, which stands for loan to value. So this means this LTV is the amount or the ratio of a loan a bank will give you in correlation to the value of the property, right? It's appraised value. So there's a couple things we got to figure out. So we got the bank lined up, but the bank in this particular case, because this is not my mom's first home, this is her second home, right? And so every kind of property, whether it's commercial property, FHA, VA, conventional loan, first home, secondary home, primary residence, all those have what's called different bank guidelines or different underwriting guidelines. So within this particular guidelines, this property is a second home for my mother, right? So if she were to be financing her primary residence, she would get a better LTV, right? So this LTV is a ratio. So in her case, it's an 80% loan to value or LTV. Many times, if it's your primary residence, you'll get, or like she's using a conventional loan for this, but now if you use FHA or either other kind of conventional loans, and it's your primary residence and not a second home, you'll get as high as a 97% loan to value. That means this is the amount the bank is loaning you in relation to the value of your home. So, and we're going to get to the value part in a second, but that means you only have to come to the table with a 3% down payment. In this case, my mom will have to come to the table with a 20% down payment. But I'm going to show you how we got around the 20% down payment and finance this new home build for 0% down, no money down. All right, so this would be a primary residence, right? FHA, or even conventional, a conventional loan, a VA loan for veterans. And all these things I teach you in the Jay Morrison Academy. I have many of these things also in my best-selling book, Lord of My Land, 5 Steps to Home Ownership. I'm giving y'all the game away, but you have to be intentional enough to go get it. So this is for our second home purchase. So one thing that my mom had to do, one of the first things once she got pre-qualified, which is what I teach you in Lord of My Land, go to your mortgage company, your credit union, your bank, and get pre-qualified or pre-approved for your deal, is that once she got pre-qualified based on her credit and her income and they understood the loan scenario, the bank then had to determine what is the value of this home in order for us to figure out how much we're going to loan. So what we knew was, with this particular deal, if my mom could come in, being at her all-in costs are $106,000, if she could come in the mid 140s in regards to value, so in order to get value and determine the value, she had to get an appraisal. Right? Appraisal is done by a licensed appraiser, and they're going to look at the local comps, meaning comparable homes that have sold within the last 6 months within 1 square mile, and they're going to within 1 square mile, last 6 months, 3 comparable homes, and they're going to come up with the property value. And so once they find that value, we're then going to determine based on the loan to value how much money the bank will actually give her. So what we did was, we looked at our appraisal. Her appraisal came in at $147,000. Now, if you take 80% of that $147,000, you're going to get $117,000. Right? So times 0.8, times 0.80, or which is equivalent to 80%, we now got $117,600, right? The bank is going to loan my mom for the build of this property. So now we knew her all-in costs for the project were just $106,000. So even with some flexibility in room, we were able to include my mom's closing costs, the build costs, right, to actually build a new property, and then based on her 80% loan to value, she was able to cover those costs and some, and have, you know, nearly $8,000 or so left over, and be able to finance this whole entire project with no money out of her pocket, simply by leveraging the land that our family already owned, understanding these terms and this strategy, and approaching this loan, leveraging the bank's guidelines in order for the bank to fund not just the bill, but the closing costs. So my mom will be moving into and working on this project after she's coming to close, into a new single family home, her second home, a second home property, using 100% of the bank's money at an 80% LTV, leveraging the land that we already owned, right? So this is how she was able to finance, right, this project. So now she was asking me, because she wasn't as clear as to loan the values and, you know, what could happen, because the bank told her she needed to be at 150, and that was more of a roundabout number. But what would have happened is, if this value were lesser, so I want to kind of give you a lesson out of this, it's not just about financing a home with no money out of your pocket. I mean, it's a catchy title. It's partly how she's doing that and how it can be done, but it's also more about you understanding how bank loan to values and bank financing works, because that's something that the everyday person doesn't get. It's something that we teach extensively in our school, but I want to give you a sample lesson today. So if my mom's value would have came in at $130,000, just say, the bank will still give the same 80% loan to value. So now we will look at 80% of that 130. $104, right? So it's not the same 80%, or 0.8, when you get 104,000. So if my mom's value came in at 130, the bank will still loan the same 80%, but now the bank will only be loaning 104,000. But the project cost is 106,000. So that means my mom would have to come out of pocket to close this deal $2,000 in financing, if this is the way the value came in. So she was crossing her fingers, hoping that the value came in at a high enough number to be able to cover all her costs. No different than if it were severely undervalued and she could only get 90 grand in value for the property, times 0.8, or 80%. Then she'd be looking at $72,000 loan from the bank, and the difference, which is about 28 plus 6, $34,000 difference she would have to come out of pocket with for this property. So now, one more lesson, then I'm out of here. I just like giving game. I'm just in the mood today. I'm just in the mood to show y'all what I've learned over the last 12 years that has made me me. So anyway, now, once my mom purchases this property, right, check out the game. And this is what I'm trying to get across to all you so energetically, so passionately, why I've been to 18 cities now over the last 3-4 months, and I got 7 cities to go on a 25-city tour, teaching real estate on the street corners. The reason why I'm doing this is because this fundamental information is what changed my life and brought me off the block. It brought me off the corner into the corner office. This fundamental information brought me from high school dropout and 3-time felon to welfare kid and poverty kid, out there with my head screwed on backwards, to having it, you know, not all figured out, but I got a nice amount figured out, right? So I want to get across to y'all. So many people come to us and they're like, hey, I'm a truck driver and I want to do this. Hey, I'm a salon owner. I'm a single mom. I'm a college dropout. I'm a college kid. I'm this. I want to change my life. Listen, you're going to have to learn something fundamentally different if you want to change your situation. You can't change your situation knowing the same information you knew before you came into the door. And then if you're talking about, well, I want to join your program, I want to be mentored, I want to be coached, but you know, I can't afford $100 a month, I can't afford $3 a day, I can't afford your classes. If you can't afford classes that's going to change your life, you got a major problem right now. you got a bigger problem than not affording classes. You got some, if you can't afford $3 or $5 a day to get into a program to change your life, then you really got to do some things extremely differently right now. You need to make some life cuts and life choices, some life changes. So anyway, when my mom looks at this 147 value, another thing that we know is that once she moves here and this becomes her primary residence, then she can refinance the property at a 97% loan to value. So now she'll go back to the banks at 147,000 times times 0.97. And now my mom will get a loan from the banks on a refinance after she owns the property and can prove she lives there for $142,000, $590,000 minus the 147. Oops. And she can, pardon me, not the 147. She'll get a loan from the bank for 142, but remember, she only owes 106 to the bank, right, from her other loan. So now she'd get 142 on a new loan minus the 106 that she owes, and can walk away after owning this property with $36,590 cash out, refinance. Or she can go to the bank and get a home equity line of credit called a HELOC or a home equity loan and tap into this equity in her property. That's what this number is called, is your equity. She can tap into her equity, now use this $36,000 to go out and buy more real estate. Now she can buy a rental property, and now this rental property she buys with the money she refinanced from this home that she got with no money down of leveraging the bank's money. She now can refinance, pull out $36,000, use that as a down payment on a rental property, and use a rental income from this property to pay for her mortgage on the property she got in the very beginning with no money down. That's just a game. Like, this is what we're doing. Like, I've been doing for the last 12 years. This is what my students are doing. This is what the wealthy are doing. They just got a different knowledge base. So we got to get rid of our poor behaviors and adopt some rich people behaviors, some rich people strategies. And this is what happens. Now she'll take the equity from this property and the cash flow from this property, tax advantage from this property, and then go out and get the next property. Now she gets a 4-unit. And you start building what's called a portfolio for yourself. And then you leverage that portfolio in this, and you know you're buying 20-unit buildings. And you're starting to create wealth for your family. And this is my same mom who birthed me at 18 years old. My same mom that was addicted to drugs, that was on welfare, on Section 8, on food stamps. I stood in lines with her this big, in welfare lines. My same mom. And now that's what our conversation is talking about. My same mom that visited me on Rikers Island, C-74, Mile 3 upward. My same mom that drove 7 hours to visit me at Eastern Correctional Institution in prison. My same mom that cried on the phone when I was facing 3 years of life in prison. My same mother who spoke to the Tulsa Real Estate Fund ball. And now we're talking about her building her first house. Like, this is what I want to give back to the culture, to our community. Like, this is why I'm so passionate. This is my same mom that used to pick up drugs in New York with me in the car, lock me in the car, say, don't open the door, boy. Now she calling me getting advice on real estate transactions, but I have the knowledge base to give it back to her. Can you teach your mom how she can build her house? Or mothers, can you teach your sons how they can build their house? So why are you not being intentional when we're giving you a clear pathway to the information? Why are you doing your family such a disservice? By not being disciplined enough, by not being chill enough, by not being focused enough, intentional enough about learning what we have to offer, what we teach. And so for everyone around the world that watches this video, hopefully you guys are sharing this right now. Hopefully it got you lit right now, because the whole goal is to be financially lit. So for everybody watching this right now, our school has online courses. I'm not selling you our courses or our services. What I'm selling you is a life change for you, whether you learn it from us or somewhere else. I'm just telling you where we have it. So whether you get it from the Jay Morrison Academy, or you get it from Robert Kiyosaki or Fortune Builders, or I tell you, any competitor, they're not going to be as relatable. They're not going to be able to break it down the way that we break it down. They're not going to be as authentic. I know what we bring to the table. But what I want to convince you of is to learn something different in life when it comes to finances. You got to learn money if you want to compete financially. If you want to compete economically, you have to learn economics. You got to learn these strategies. You don't have to go to college to do it. You don't have to go to community college to do it. You're not going to learn it in high school. But we'll give it right to you. If you want to be an entrepreneur or real estate developer or investor, or you just want to be financially knowledgeable, be able to provide your family these important resources, tools, and tips and strategies, we offer to you at JMA. We offer to you through our online courses, which you can get at jay-morrison-academy.com. We have a special just for 6 courses on residential real estate, commercial real estate, business mastery, self-mastery, credit mastery, and everything you need to know about credit, we give to you. With weekly mentorship calls, over 90 hours of lectures, over 200 hours of archived mentorship calls. In our private JMA student community, the JMA family, you get all that for $149 a month. That's $5 a day. $149 a month to get intense and concise and precise lessons on everything they never taught us about real estate, entrepreneurship, and economics. We're giving the game away. That's our goal. And for those of you who want to test it out, we have a free real estate investors crash course on our site. So you don't have to just go dive in and commit to a tuition. Go try the free real estate investors crash course. Go look at my 1,000+ YouTube videos. We are offering you the opportunity to learn what you've never been taught. And that's why I'm happy to be able to go teach my mom what she don't know. But she got me though. Mom Dukes is straight. So everybody has the opportunity. I appreciate you guys for joining me on this quick Facebook Live. It's something sporadic I just wanted to do. I just felt it. I felt like I want to teach. I want to teach more. I'm filled with information. And we're going to continue to teach you on Facebook Lives and Instagrams and YouTubes. But the core information and curriculum that will get you from A to Z the fastest is going to be in our school. I created a school for a reason. So that you learn in a structured environment and that you also get the weekly mentorship calls every Wednesday. Because you're going to have questions. I know you got questions right now. I ain't answering none. You got questions, you come to your Wednesday mentorship call on Jay Morrison Academy. That's where you ask your questions. You have questions, we have weekly Wednesday mentorship calls. Our school will be 4 years old January 8th of 2018. We're going on 4 years. Where we had either bi-weekly or weekly mentorship calls and haven't missed one call in 4 years. If you want to learn this, you ask questions there. First, you go invest in getting the blueprint and the foundation of the same information right here. We teach it A through Z. Real estate investing for commercial, for residential, for just understanding how to be an entrepreneur and business owner. Do something different. It's the only thing that changed my life. I just learned something different. I did something different. What you know affects your actions. Your actions produce results. So this is the opportunity that everybody got right. I can talk for days on multiple. I know 4 or 5 ways my mom can do the same thing, but I'm not going to make the lecture that long. I can tell you how you can buy this land with no money down, to then leverage it no money down, to go build on it no money down. I know it. It's not that complicated. You just don't know it. And for those of you who do know it, you're not giving it back. So this is what we do. This is my job. So anyway, jay-morrison-academy.com for our wealth mastery program. We having a tuition discount at only $149 a month to get all this, over 90 hours of lectures plus weekly mentorship calls at $149 a month. Like, you can't beat that. Like, your kids don't need Jordans and Dunks and LeBrons. Like, y'all need this. You don't need Xbox games. You don't need happy hour martinis. You spend $20 a day on smoking some marijuana, that's $600 a month. You don't need that. You need this. So be disciplined and intentional about getting this and go change your life. As long as you know this right, think about that. $149 a month can show you how to make $36,000 off a deal. No money down on a build. Like, this real game, this real spill. And then we also offer one-on-one coaching. For those who want to get coached by me, you already have equity in your home, you own land, you own property, you own buildings, and you want to scale it to the next level, and you want me to put my arms around you and be your strategy coach, I got you. Like, this, I'm the one. I'm the same guy you see in the corner in the hood in every city, a different city every week. Ain't nobody that real in this industry. Tell you that right now, hands down. And they'll tell you themselves, nobody gonna do what we gonna do and give back how we give back. But you guys want to learn from us, it's jay-morrison-academy.com. Thanks for joining this lecture. See you next time. Peace.